Hi everyone, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. This is Melanie. Today we are breaking down Confetti Party by Die Cuts with a View. I purchased this paper pad primarily for card making because I send out way more birthday cards than I do birthday layouts, but it really doesn't change how I break these down for the most part, in that I can use the papers either for cards or for scrapbooks. I have the same kind of matching principles, if you will. How I coordinate doesn't really change that different between card making and scrapbooking. So let me show you what I came up with. Okay, so for the first paper kit, I have this holographic foiled balloon paper. I paired that with this orange geometric. I really like the two colors together. And then of course, you know me, I love my contrast, and I threw in this multicolored dot on black. And as a background, I have this ombre pattern, which I think goes really well with this. And then I threw in this cut apart sheet with all these words. Now you could cut these apart as individual words, or I could see me also just cutting them out into strips and using it as a border on a page. And the back side is this confetti, which also goes really well with these three. This works okay too, but you would need something to separate it to make it work. For the second kit, using the balloons, I paired that with this yellow paper that says "Throw kindness around like confetti." If I was using this for a scrapbook page, I would use this either as a backdrop, or I would probably cut this off and use this as a border and this as matting pieces. If I was making a card, anything could go with that one. Obviously it's going to get cut down. I also threw in this ombre paper as a background for a scrapbook layout, but this would also make really great base for a card. Of course, cut aparts usually make great cards, especially ones that say things like "have a blast," "eat cake," "party, party, party," "I'm excited for today." All would make great cards. The back side of these are very generic, which is fantastic. So any of the ones that I don't feel I would use, I would just use the back side. And then I threw in yet another ombre. Again, could be a background for a layout or for cards. For this kit, I started with the streamer paper, which is really pretty. And I paired that with the orange geometric. That was an easy pairing. This next one, not so much. Again, I struggle with some of these that have this kind of design in the middle. I'm anticipating using this as a background, as it probably was intended, and I would probably put a band of orange, let's say, down the middle, and then build off of there, but who knows, we'll see what happens. I don't know if I necessarily would pair all three of these together, but I think these two go really well and these go really well. And then I threw in the cut aparts, which would go with either. For the next kit, I used this confetti paper. It's so much fun. I love the colors on here. And I paired that with the pink stripe. I really like this combination. And then I also threw in this more loose confetti, if you will. It's not ideal, but these two go really well together and these two go well together. So if I was using cards, those would be easy combinations. I also threw in this cut apart sheet as well. Now for these really long ones, like obviously this is designed for a 12 by 12 layout, would be really hard to use on a card, but something like this one here, you could trim this off. Well, trim this off and you could stagger it on a card, so that definitely would work. And something like Happy Day, you might be able to do a slimline card with that. I'm not sure on the exact measurements, but something to keep in mind there. For this next page kit, I started with the multicolored dot on black, and I paired that with this really large jumbo heart in pink. I really like that combination. And then I thought, well, let's be a little bit daring and see if we can throw this in. Now, if I look at the patterns as a whole, I'm not overly fond of this combination, but if I treat each one of these as a stripe, now it changes in the way that I look at it. So for instance, if I break this down to just a small portion, and then with the white, I really like that. So that's why I paired that together. And then I also had this confetti with the black, and this goes really well with this and looks pretty good with this too, if you use it as a border between the two. Or you could, of course, go this way. I don't know if I would necessarily combine all 4 patterns, but who knows? We'll see. What time will tell. So for this confetti on the aqua, I paired it with the pink stripe, which worked really well. Now these are starting to read very similar in tone. I think that's the correct word. And so I like to brighten it up a little bit. And so I threw in this multicolored dot. And again, if you just add that in here, it just makes these pop, I think, a little more than if they were by themselves. And then I threw in that cut apart again with this. I started with this scallop stripe and I paired it with the aqua geometric, and then I also paired it with this kind of multicolored stripe. This is a lot going on. It needs something to break it up for sure, either a little bit of black or some white, which I will add when I do the layout or the card. I anticipate using some of this in very small amounts, so I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, something like that. And then, if you will, you know, you could go something like this where you treat this as a border, or the other thing you could do is use this as a mat behind that and then have the scallops going across. Again, this one needs something else to complete it, but I don't normally pull white cardstock or black cardstock to complete a page kit. I'll do that at the time when I figure out exactly what direction I'm going to go in. Back to that multicolored confetti with the geometric, really like that combination. And then I threw in the scallop, and again, I would probably use the scallop in pretty small portions, the same with this really busy pattern. Or if I were to use this really busy pattern, it would be like maybe to do a large frame around, let's see if you can see that, like a large matte frame, and then have this piece and then the photos and stuff on top. Or of course, if it was cards, anything goes, which is why I also threw in the cut apart of words in case I wanted to make cards out of these. The last kit, I started with this heart confetti. I have the pink tone on tone dot. I really like that. And then I threw in this multi-stripe again, using it as a stripe more than likely. So think along the lines like that. And then use this also as matting. So that is the Confetti Party paper pad by Die Cuts with a View. Like I said, I will probably make mostly cards out of here. So I am going to flag these all as cards, and I ran out of flags, so I'll have to go pull some. But I will put a tab up here at the top just so I know that that's intended for card making. Let me know what you think of this paper pad below. Do you like it? Is it too much? Not enough? What's missing? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again, everyone, and until next time, happy crafting.